much we hate each other. I think we're just competitive. I think New Zealand and Australia are competitive in a large number of sports, and I think the Bledisloe Cup's just part of that. I think, we're neighbours, and, as New Zealanders, we're pretty isolated from the world, so Australians are our neighbours, and Australians is where we see a lot of our opposition.
Passion's very important, but passion, that only lasts a little while. I mean, you can't just be passionate for one match and rely on that. I mean, passion comes from within. I think passion comes as bred by a team. It's not something you can just give to someone. A confident person respects his opposition, whereas perhaps an arrogant person doesn't. And I'm a great believer in doing our homework on the opposition and making sure that we don't leave any stone unturned there.
I don't try to make any statement by it. I just realise that the haka is part of our culture, an important part, and I just try and do my best to uphold the values that we go by.
A terrible mistake, and it's a try.
You're going to have to play really well to beat them on their own ground, where they've got the advantage of the crowd and being at home. We're away. They're pretty desperate, so if you underestimated them, I think you'd be a fool.
We're playing the team right now that's favourite to take out the World Cup, so they're the team by which every other team in the world is measuring their standards. So if we look at it that way, it's a great opportunity for us to see where we are.
Yes, it's arguably the biggest and most important home test in Australian rugby history. A world record crowd of around 110,000 expected, and the stage is Stadium Australia, Olympic headquarters for Sydney 2000. And we're all here for the Bledisloe Cup showdown, the Australian Wallabies and the New Zealand All Blacks, and the Wallaby parachutist got to terra firma first. Will that be an omen here tonight? Well, the great news too is that we have a lovely evening for this magnificent occasion. The stadium is filling up very rapidly, but fine weather is forecast, and it's a beautiful, balmy evening in Sydney. Joining me, former Wallaby captain Nick Barr-Jones. Nick, what's the key for a Wallaby upset tonight?
Well, Gordon, I think by their own admission, the Australian team, they've been disappointing the last two matches. It starts up front against the All Blacks. The scrum, the line out must give a solid platform. After that, I think we've got to get cleverer, how to get in behind the New Zealanders, get them going back. But for me, the key is hanging onto the ball. We've been averaging about 20 turnovers a game this season. You do that and you can kiss your chances of beating the All Blacks goodbye.
Well, Nick, your old mate Simon Poitevin. Simon, can the Wallaby forwards foot it with the All Blacks tonight?
Well, Mark Connor should lead him out there tonight. It's going to be a high work rate required and discipline as well. Discipline in Auckland was terrible. The side gave away so many penalties in kickable distance from Mehrtens. That's going to be picked up, and it's speed to the break down by 8 men. So hopefully Connors will provide the lead there tonight to get him there ahead of the All Blacks.
Well, the Tri-Nations table is academic. New Zealand has wrapped up the trophy. Australia looking for maximum 5 points tonight. It still won't be enough. Well, the Wallabies arrived in very good battle, Simon Poitevin. There's Mark Connors, a big moment for him tonight.
Yeah, it's a good mood in the side, and then the sideline here, strong for the game. George Gregan, a huge game for him to help Kafer out. Kafer will be fine tonight. He's an exceptional player, and he'll put guys like Herbert through many gaps. Andrew Blade's got to pick up his work rate, and Foley might get a run as well.
Well, the All Blacks also looking nice and fresh, led by Tane Randall. Nick Barr-Jones.
Yeah, Gordon, what they've done this year, they've put daylight between themselves and the rest. This is our chance to get a bit closer. But John Hart would have said to them, do not underestimate Australia with 110,000 people at Stadium Australia.
Yes, well, some key matchups. The two fly halves, Rod Kafer. He hasn't been tried at this level. He's a creative player. Mehrtens #1 in world game at present. And Mark Connors and also Norm Maxwell, both lightweight, both fiercely committed and very quick around the field. Well, Chris Handy, you're up in your citadel, Buddha's citadel, high in the southern stand. How do you overview the proceedings here tonight?
Well, Gordon, 337 steps high, full of cheer and beer and getting here. This is a place where the Wallabies tonight have to put pride and passion on the line. To do it, I believe they need at least 60% of the ball, because that needs to make up for the slickness of this all-back combination at the moment. But in this great place, our great team will not let this big crowd down. The anthem will be sensational. Advance Australia Fair will be even better. Bring on the Wallabies. It's Bledisloe Cup 1999.
Yes, we're building to the last test match of the 1900s. The Bledisloe Showdown, back shortly. Back at the Olympic Stadium. The Qantas Spirit of Australia performance now. 1,200 school children aged between 7 and 16. National Boys Choir, the Australian Girls Choir, the Australian Youth Choir and the Singers 2000 Choir. The Qantas Kangaroo has never looked and sounded so good as we join the Aussie dressing room now with Nick Barr-Jones.
Yeah, they'll be very nervous. It's going to be a huge occasion for these guys to take the field. 110,000 people. Toto Kefu there. Timmy Horan back to his number 12 position. But this is a crucial game, not just to retain the Bledisloe, but to instill some confidence leading into the World Cup.
David Wilson, the world's most capped flanker, coming off a couple of losses, but certainly the Wallabies are primed for tonight's performance.
Yeah, they'd have to be, Gordon. I mean, these fellas, Matt Burke, this is the occasion. They go out today and it's all no holds barred.
Okay, let's look at the two lineups then. Firstly, the Australian team, and their front row is Richard Harry, Bill Kearns, and also the experienced Andrew Blades. Mark Connors joins David Giffen in the second row for his first run-on test match, and it's the all-Queensland back row. Kepu, David Wilson and Matt Cobain. The Australian halves, well, George Cregan is the vice-captain, joined by a new face, Rod Tugboat Caper, his test debut. And Tim Horan is reunited with Stadium Australia, a spectacular launching pad for the last test match of the 1900s here in Sydney. Back shortly. And some spectacular aerial shots tonight from the Goodyear blimp, the Spirit of the South Pacific. And it can soar as high as 10,000 feet. But as you can see, there's a lot of smoke behind me. The visibility is not too good, but we promise it will be right when we kick off in just a few minutes' time. But down on the touchline, Simon Poitevin is with a couple of guys who will play a big part in Australia's World Cup campaign. Over to you, Simon.
Thanks, Gordon. Steve Larkham, game number 4, back from comeback. How'd you go?
Not too bad. Got through the whole game. You know, I didn't have any pain in the knee. There's a little bit of swelling now, and it's a little bit sore to walk on. But hopefully, you know, I've got about a week and a half before my next game, and hopefully it'll settle down before then.
Now, you know Rod Caper very well. Can he do it tonight?
I think so. Rod's been around for a number of years now. He's a very experienced player. You know, he was one of the founding members of the Brumbies, and he sort of held the Brumbies together in the backs there. And I think, you know, out there tonight, he'll show what he's really made of. He's certainly got a lot of poise and control under pressure, and you know, that's a big game for him tonight, and I think we'll see good things from him.
John Eales, Mark Connors, big game for him tonight.
Yeah, it is a big game, and he's been put in for the extra mobility, and he's been playing so well right throughout the season, so there's no reason why he won't replicate that tonight.
And you'd be disappointed not being out in this fantastic atmosphere.
What an atmosphere, 110,000 people playing for the Bledisloe Cup. It doesn't get any better than this. It might get a little bit better actually come November, so let's hope for that as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Simon. Yes, it's all about the World Cup, isn't it? It kicks off in 5 weeks' time in Wales. Would you like to be there? Well, here's your last chance in the Ford Famous Trophy. Yes, it's the 110th clash between Australia and New Zealand since the first meeting back in 1903 here in Sydney. The two sides to take the field on the other side of this break.
But look at that stadium, look at that passion in the New Zealanders. I understand something like 35,000 Kiwis have crossed the Tasman for this great game. They are great supporters and their team is running hot.
Well, they're just about to come out here, Simon Poitevin. They've had a terrific build-up. We'll just hold your comments for a second as we pause for the Kiwi skipper. Tane Randall to lead out this crack All Black team. The stadium will erupt when they arrive because, as Nick said, there are so many Kiwi supporters here. Well, there's a few boos, a mixed reception, Simon, as we see the All Blacks arrive, but plenty of people decked out in their favourite black colours tonight.
Well, a lot of Kiwis here, but also a lot of Aussies. Great to see the green and gold being worn tonight because they'll need all the support out there, the Australians. This is an awesome New Zealand team.
Well, it's a stable New Zealand lineup, exactly the same 15 that took the field against the Wallabies at Eden Park 5 weeks ago. Up front, Carl Hoft returns after a calf muscle tear. Veteran Burke plays his 44th test in a row. Overall, 353 test caps in this New Zealand lineup. Watch out for the lethal finishing of Christian Cullen, who scored 30 tries from his 34 tests. Andrew Mehrtens, well, is there a better number 10 in the game at the moment, Nick Barr-Jones?
You know, he's certainly playing very soundly. Watch for his precision kicking. He'll put the Kiwis in some wonderful positions.
And Simon, Norm Maxwell, he's super quick round the field. He's an old-fashioned second rower, though, isn't he?
Well, old-fashioned second rowers couldn't run as fast as this guy or throw a pass as well as this guy. He's been a real discovery for New Zealand this year, as has the front row from Otago. But I think the Australian side tonight, Mehrtens booting that ball downfield. You'll see the Australians counter-attack this tonight like you've never seen them counter-attack.
Yes, well, I guess old-fashioned in the sense that he's all arms and elbows and raw aggression, Norm Maxwell. So the Australian side now prepares for their moment of truth. Such an important game leading into the World Cup, Nick.
Yeah, there's no doubt the guys have to build some confidence as David Wilson leads the team out, and there's a few elements that have to get better tonight.
Torai Kepu and Matt Cobain follow him out, and then the engine room, the guys at the coal face, the front rowers. Good to see Jason Little back there too. Here they come. They are greeted by this vast crowd. We're tipping it's a world record crowd tonight. All the predictions are suggesting that up towards 110,000. And look at all the gold flags. Go Wallabies is the message the players are getting here at Stadium Australia. 7 changes to the Wallaby starting 15 that face the All Blacks in Auckland. A new front row. It's the all New South Wales combination of Harry, Kearns and Blades. Mark Connors, his first run-on test match. The same also for Rod, the tugboat caper. And looking at the Australian side overall, 533 test caps. Jason Little returning for his 62nd international, forcing Joe Roth to the bench. And Rod Caper, the tugboat from the ACT Brumbies. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders, Nick Barr-Jones, but he is the man for the occasion.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. He's really deserved this position, but there's one thing you can be assured of. As we see Phil Kearns, the new dad, second son born this week, Caper will be targeted by the All Blacks.
No doubt about that, and your old teammate there, Simon Poitevin, Phil Kearns, second child, Finn Nicholas, arriving just on Thursday.
Yeah, Phil had a very sound game against South Africa. His work rate, and he played for 80 minutes, so he should be good tonight. Loves this sort of atmosphere.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a current star of television and music, Auckland-born Jay Lagaya, to sing the New Zealand national anthem.
God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard above. God defend New Zealand.
First time here for the All Blacks at Stadium Australia.
And now, please welcome Australian award-winning entertainer Jane Scarley to sing the Australian National Anthem. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth to soar. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage have masses treasures there. In joyful strains, then let us sing our vast Australian flag.
Chris Handy, you've been singing with great gusto down there. And Tane Randall now to hook things up for the pre-match ritual. Uniquely New Zealand. So Tane Randall to lead the haka on this splendid surface. Good response from the crowds. The All Blacks are ready to go. And let's have a look at the two reserve lineups, the two benches for these outstanding international rugby teams. Some big names on the Aussie bench: Joe Rock, Nathan Gray, Strauss, Finnegan, Noriega and Foley. And for New Zealand, Jonah Lomu, we'll see him at some stage. And Craig Dowd coming back in from the wilderness. John Williamson now leading the crowd in Waltzing Matilda.
Waltzing Matilda, you'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me. Well, the Aussies will have to get used to that sort of singing, except
5 times louder at the Millennium Stadium. Jim Fleming from Scotland, the man in charge. He had a Tri-Nations game back in 1996 at Subiaco. And there's Dylan Meek, a Simon point of it, a key man in the Kiwi back row.
Yeah, Dylan Meek has been another form player for the All Blacks. Jim Fleming's actually done a very good job any time he's refereed Australia-New Zealand. Last time, 96, a free-flowing game. And remember, the 91 World Cup semi-final did a fabulous job when we scored that fantastic win in Dublin. We win by the under-19s in the curtain race as well, 2016 against New Zealand.
Yes, the Australian under-19s under Gary Ella and David Carter, 2 former Wallabies. Chris Handy, you're down there, close to the action, metres from the touchline. Set the scene.
You should have heard this anthem from down here. Gordon, I have never experienced anything like it. The Melbourne Cricket Ground was great. This just awesome. It was fantastic to be on the side and eyeballing the Wallabies just prior to this, the kick-off.
Andrew Mehrtens starts proceedings and goes deep. Kafer gets an early touch. Pumps it downfield to Jeff Wilson and Tane Randall. 10 from halfway. He kicks across field now. Matthew Burke comfortably inside his quarter. Chance to ram this downfield. He does. That's huge. So a good start for the Wallabies in the early kicking duel.
Well, they need a good start because the last 3 games they've been asleep for the first 10 or 15 minutes. They must nail the All Blacks early in this game with a chance to win it.
Yeah, very strange tactics from the captain Randell. You don't often see a number 8 kicking across field, but he elected to do it and he got punished.
Robin Brooke got the line out. Mehrtens' pass is juggled and a big hit on Gibson. Good work there by the Wallaby back row. New Zealand scurry it back. And an overlap here for Mehrtens, who runs. Tane Randall out there. Wallaby forwards arrive and tow it through.
It's all about being aggressive and positive for the Australians. As Simon said, the Australians have to start well. They were asleep at Eden Park for the first 20 minutes. They've got to get amongst these guys in black.
I think Kearnsey knows this game, Simon says, because look at him, he comes through. This ball goes loose, straight into the fray. Comes out of picture and just jams through the gap.
Anton Oliver. Line out is 12 from halfway. Australia almost got it. Carl Hoff now trying to weave his way through, but the Australians just spoiling.
Well, that was blatantly pulling it down. Matt Cobain, the All Blacks splintered the Australian line out and just on the march. We'll see in replay, just taken straight to ground, but almost a line-out win there by the Australians on the All Black throw.
So New Zealand punish that little indiscretion, but you'll see this player emerging from the middle of the ruck, or the maul, and Cobain reckoning the maul had finished and felt he could tackle him.
The player he tackled didn't have the ball, they'd already transferred it. Possession's the name of the game tonight for the Wallabies. Getting it off the black throws is where it'll start.
5 metres from halfway. Norm Maxwell in the number 4 jumper. Coming back here for Oliver. Almost to the 10-metre line. Australia going in to pilfer. Much more urgency. They've turned it over, New Zealand. Kafer goes wide. Here's Herberts. And a knock on by Ben Tune.
Easy. Walking forward.
Well, that's what we need to see. In Auckland, the All Blacks were just taking ball after ball from the Wallabies. This is a good sign. They've ripped the ball off the All Blacks early.
Well, that was New Zealand's focus in their Tri-Nations game, and they've done it so superbly.
First scrum very low. Andrew Blades and Carl Hofton, that far side of the scrum, go to ground. It's not enough just for parity here. The Wallabies have got to try and dominate this black pack.
Engage.
Wallaby front row gets a good engagement. Randall goes to Wilson. Can't get round Horan. Kronfeld's there. Horan gets him too. And he didn't relent. New Zealand slow to that breakdown.
Well, he's got them from coming over the top. Kronfeld did an excellent job laying the ball back. Then there was desperation from the All Black back row, especially from Mika, to try and stop the Australians from getting another ball from the All Blacks.
The Wallabies are hitting the players early. They're getting in and making the tackles. 1, 2. That's the second that Horan had made effective. They drag it back with the boot.
So just a slightly different interpretation from a new referee, unsettling the All Blacks early on. Taken away by Maxwell. Australia doesn't win its line-out throw. Here's Mehrtens again. Angling towards the far touch. Burke across. And we're just outside the quarter line. No score. Nearly 5 minutes gone.
Well, again, misdirected throw. Cough up possession at the line, and it's cost the Australians 25 metres. Phil Kearns played very well around the paddock against South Africa. It's just this aspect of getting the line-out throws on the money. We have to secure this phase of possession.
David Giffen going back. Here comes Cobain. Cobain gets it comfortably. So good variation there. Australia try to drive off the line out now. New Zealand counters. Here come the Wallabies. They've marched at 10 metres. Kearns goes to ground. And now Burke.
Number 7, Black, offside.
Josh Kronfeld pinged for some offside play.
Well, having a look at the replay of the game in Auckland last night, Kronfeld and Kerr really pushed the advantage line on the offside. So this time, Jim Fleming's got him. And it's a real warning to the All Blacks because they really will try and push that offside sideline all night.
I'm sure the Australians will too, Simon.
Well, Rod Kafer is showing the confidence that he has. He's doing all the talking in the back line. He's the general in the Brumbies play. He's a very good tactician. Now he's just got to play it out, get some ball and shift it well across that Wallaby back line.
So Kearns again with 35 metres out. Comfortably for Cobain. Gregan working to Wilson and Kefu. Got through the tackle of Mika. In behind the All Blacks. Gregan now short side for Kafer. Lovely little pass. Cobain. Ball and all from Mika. Wallabies clean out. George Gregan
Just take it easy, don't bring it
has
down like
used his
that.
foot there on one of the All Black players in frustration.
Yeah, he's called him stomping, what you would call stomping. Up and down action with the foot as opposed to actually spitting an opposition player out the back of your ruck. Great play from the Wallabies. Kefu in Kafer's pocket, getting over the gain line, and that's what they've got to do.
New Zealand this time don't release. Cobain's down after that previous incident near the touchline, and an early chance here for the Wallabies.
It's interesting, Rod Kafer. He has got such an ability to put players through gaps. Going back one movement, it was Cobain he put through the gap. Fantastic.
No score here at the stadium. For the Wallabies, Matthew Burke knows that he needs to reward the Australian team for all the pressure they've applied. It's been a rusty start for New Zealand. It's all with Matthew Burke. Crowd likes it. They went up early, and first points applauded by the Wallaby bench and this vast crowd.
The urgency of the side tonight, and the pack in particular, is great to see, and also great to see Matthew Burke striking that so sweetly.
Mehrtens better kick that time. Richard Harry cleans up. They try to turn him.
I've got it! Get away quicker, please. We're just lying there flat. Find a way over.
So again, an indiscretion by New Zealand, making no effort to get away from the tackled player.
Smarter work from George Gregan. He didn't go in this time. There was a black player involved. The referee said, hey, you had plenty of time. And George Gregan applauding you very cheekily.
Well, what they're doing here, Simon, both sides are trying to slow the ball down, the delivery of the ball from the tackle, but New Zealand's been penalised a couple of times.
Well, there's brilliant backs on both sides, so that's the thinking behind that. But very good work there from Richard Harry to collect that ball, to take the hit and go to ground.
That was the third ruck penalty against New Zealand. Up the back it goes. Well taken by Giffen, Gregan, Wilson and Kefu in concert. That little variation is causing a few problems for New Zealand.
Again, he's got the New Zealanders for offside. Up too quickly, they're asking questions. Darryl Gibson saying, who, me? But one of the great things that the Australians are doing tonight is they've worked out They've got to get the ball in behind New Zealand. Get it to the gain line. Look at the urgency now with the yellow jerseys. The quick possession is the key to it. Rod McQueen has coached them very well in the initial parts.
Quite clearly, Jim Fleming, when the ball's caught in a line out and the player goes straight down, the two back lines must stay back to 10 metres until the ball leaves it. It didn't. It was held by Giffen. The Blacks came up in that 10 metres and Jim Fleming allowed the advantage, but none came. So he's being tough, but he's being very correct. The Blacks are just are there amazed by the stringency with which he's refereeing.
So Matthew Burke with a further chance to punish New Zealand. This one's 40 out and directly in front. They're up again. 2 out of 2 for Matthew Burke. He started the game in splendid fashion, the 26-year-old who plays with the Eastwood Club. And Australia 6-0.
The restarts haven't been pretty for the Wallabies the last 2 test matches. They've got to make sure of this one. It is vital ball. The ball's coming back to you. You've got to use it.
Mehrtens goes shallow again. Cronfeld through. Well taken by David Wilson. And he marched 10 metres ahead. He ran into Iramia. Kafer goes right. Probes. Forwards arrive. Here's Horan. Deep into New Zealand territory. He wants it to go into touch. The ball doesn't oblige and saves a sticky situation there for Jeff Wilson.
Touch unlucky for the Wallabies. Had that ball stayed outside the goal line, New Zealand would have had to forced to kick into touch for an Australian line out. Lomu warming up early, but great to see Kafer the early touches and playing positively. He needs that in his test debut.
Well, here he is now. Rod Kafer probing, just setting things up again for the forwards on halfway. Nothing silly. Here now for George Gregan. And Jason Little, the experienced man, trying to bounce that one over the head of Randall. They've got it on the end of the string at the moment, this Wallaby team.
I'm not quite sure he worked out that bounce that well, Gordon, but he's a bit lucky. But Kafer's ball security very good, but Jason Little will take your luck. But Kafer twice taken the ball up and it's come back.
Just the look from Jason's face. He knows he got out of jail on that one.
I'm sure the Condamine Codfish played in the grand final of in the Downs where Jason comes from and love that. And the smile.
Here's Ben Tune. Didn't go into touch. Now he puts the foot down. Marshall was the tackler. Australia win the ball comfortably again. Here's Kafer. New Zealand up very quickly. It's a tester. Here comes Horan. Umaga now. Australia really have New Zealand on the back foot in the early stages. We've had nearly 13 minutes of play. New Zealand have been infringing under this heavy pressure. Here's Tune again. Matthew Burke. Won't be happy with that one, but he recovered well. Kept it in play. Gregan. Here they go wide. There's an overlap. David Wilson. Straightening. Kefu. Just out from the quarter line. New Zealand hold on. Kafer goes right through Gregan's legs. Let off there. Matthew Burke. Caught behind the advantage line. Kafer's in to pick it up for Gregan. And he hugs the touchline, but too far. He won't be happy with that kick.
Kafer realised when he threw that ball out to Daniel Herbert he shouldn't have done that, but he got across and cleaned up Matthew Burke. Gutsy stuff. Mika right on top of him and the ball back inside over Cronfield for Gregan.
Terrific linking up between the Wallaby back row too. Wilson, Kefu in each other's pockets, producing quick recycle possession.
Said earlier 60% of possession the Wallabies would have to win, and they've got to keep going at it, pressuring this black side.
Now New Zealand get it wide. Wilson in, and he's crunched by Herbert. Just wasn't the crispness there in the New Zealand passing.
Going forward.
And it was a crunching ball and all tackle by Dan Herbert.
Just shows you how tough and strong Jeff Wilson is. He doesn't look that big out there, and Herbert is a huge man. Wilson stays in control, gets the ball back.
Bit of argy-bargy, Chris, up front.
Yeah, it's a good battle. They're set early, the All Blacks in the front row. Harry, Phil Kearns, Wiley just waiting.
They're very focused tonight, this Aussie front row. They are trying to put it on New Zealand. And here's an overlap for Mehrtens. George Gregan across. Mehrtens all the way. Oh, that's a soft try in the end. Australia badly exposed on the short side. And the All Blacks should be back in the lead after the conversion attempt.
Well, he's a genius, this guy. See how quickly he changes the play and exposes this weakness from the Wallabies on the short side.
Well, he kicked 9 penalties and a conversion against the Australians in Auckland. And look at this, Jason Little turned around. Kefu wasn't across. George Gregan really upset him with himself here. Misses him. Normally George would get him. And Jason Little takes out Matthew Burke.
Yeah, the original distraction came at the scrum. There was a runner on the left who put George Gregan out of play, but Matty Burke thought George had him covered. We all would. George has pulled off some wonderful cover defence tackles. Matthew Burke assumed George was going to get him, and he didn't, and that's the result.
Well, that's a sensational reply from Andrew Mehrtens. He can certainly foot it. He scooted down that touchline, and his pace really stretched the Australians. So New Zealand, against the run of play, are in the lead for the first time.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. In Auckland, they had all the ball and couldn't score a try, a backline try. Very little ball. Mehrtens scores a try.
Well, the All Blacks also want to try and move this ball to the extremities tonight. They have a lot of pace out there. That was a bit over-optimistic. And it's lost ahead there by, or accidentally going forward, so no knock-on, says the referee. It came off Marshall's boot, but didn't hit one of his teammates.
Optimistic, Gordon, but a sign of a very confident team to be able to throw the ball around in your own 25. And the important thing is if you get tackled, just control it, and they can play to touch.
You'll see some line-out variation here from the Wallabies against South Africa. A lot of the ball came back, and Gregan was under pressure. Trying to contain the All Blacks coming through is going to be the key here.
The number 8 Kefu again in Kafer's pocket.
So Matt Cobain to Gregan. There's Kefu straight through. Almost got out of Marshall's tackle. Big chance for the Wallabies. So Australia missed an opportunity there. Here's Horan probing. 10 metres out. And Horan didn't release. So that's wasted. New Zealand play on quickly. Oliver to Mehrtens again. He kept it in play.
You know, we weren't back 10, the gold. So Fleming, seeing no advantage coming, has penalised us. Released Australia 10 metres. Disappointing situation for Australia. Kefu went through a quick recycle, but there was just no one there to clear the ball at the time it was needed.
It's interesting, they really concentrated on the clean out. Kefu got through, they cleaned the All Blacks out. Next man in went to ground, and I think was lucky not to get penalised for replaying the ball on the ground.
Well, Connors was the guy who picked and drived when it probably needed to go to a runner just off the ruck. 10-metre line in Australian territory. New Zealand not mucking around. Uncontested line-out win for Maxwell. Now they drive ahead. Anton Oliver at the back. Still has it. Getting in behind the Aussie forwards this time. Mehrtens. Decoy runner. This is Gibson. Torai Kefu has run splendidly tonight. Here they go now. Marshall chips in behind. May have gone a little too far. Here's Burke. Good left foot reply. But still, Australia inside their quarter.
Well, the Wallabies are well aware, the forwards, that Jim Fleming's watching them, pulling the All Blacks down on the drive. So really got to get the numbers in depth behind that drive to try and stop it. Australian coaching panel there.
The Blacks just gaining in confidence after that try by Mehrtens. They're getting a little more ball, they're getting a little more arrogant and ruthless in their play, a lot more definite.
Australia again just trying to form a gold wall to block the New Zealand drive. Oliver Got a little isolated.
You were isolated. Gold were above you. Holding on.
So that's very good work there by the Australian defence. Phil Kearns at the bottom.
It's the second time that Anton Oliver's been the driving wedge through that All Black drive. That time, popped through. They just weren't there quick enough. The Australians did very well. Gordon, as you said, close it down.
So it's 7-6 to New Zealand. There's Richard Harry sweeping around the back of the line-out. Regan now. Phil Kearns standing on the short side, straight into Justin Marshall. Oliver's there. Kearns manages to go to ground. Here's Kafer. Kick charge down. Kefu couldn't pick up the loose ball.
Just the glaring weakness in Kefu's game. He's so good, sort of 95, 99% of the time, but occasionally loses the concentration there. That one he should have really picked up.
There we see Kafer, the enormous pressure coming through from Kronfeld. As we said, they'll target him back to live action.
37 metres out from the Aussie goal line. Out wide it goes to Cullen. He's through, full back to beat. Umanga's inside. Horan saves the day in the last line. Well, the blistering pace. They call him Jet Shoes, Christian Cullen. And the express train almost putting Umanga over for New Zealand's second try.
Well, so close. Cullen inside Umanga. Look at that. This is what you call working off the ball. Look at Timmy Horan working there, and he's got himself in a position to save a try. Great stuff, but New Zealand's still hard on attack.
He's a very cunning player, Horan, Phil Kearns. Probably trying to give his scrum a bit of a rest here, I suggest.
Get some O2 into those lungs too for the rest of the Australian forward pack. John Hart says, let's get on with it, guys.
Christian Cullen, what a mover. Could you imagine a Christian Cullen winning the Bledisloe Cup, the World Cup, the Miracle Mile and the Inter-Dominion? The trotter named Christian Cullen, the footballer Cullen. Could be great.
7-6, no change. And Dan Herbert is coming off the field.
Well, Dan Herbert missed the tackle on Cullen going through. He strained something.
Maybe it's a blood bin, Simon. He's holding his chin.
It is a blood bin as he comes right past the front of us. He's got a lot of blood coming out of a mouth wound.
Running off with Dr. John Best. So Nathan Gray slotting in at inside centre. Horan to outside centre.
It's a crucial change with a defensive scrum 5 metres out to the back line.
This is where New Zealand can punish you so quickly. Umanga sandwiched. Big tackling there from the Aussies. Chance for Marshall, who went himself. Case Muse. Back for Randall. Probing round the edge of that ruck. That's the goal line ahead. New Zealand looking to post their second 5-pointer. Referee plays advantage. Wilson somehow got the pass outside, but there's a penalty to the Kiwis. Let's wait for the referee's word here.
Holding on!
You can see the referee's arm out, playing advantage for New Zealand.
Holding on!
Australia was holding on all right.
You slowed it down completely. I told you to get your hands off. Your hands didn't go off until it was too late. I was playing advantage.
There was desperation stuff from Australia. Almost a professional foul. New Zealand had them on the ropes. Should be 3 points here for Mehrtens.
In many ways, I thought that ball popping out the back of that scrum really wasn't the work move. They really wanted to keep it in there, but it gave them a surprise attack there on the Wallabies. Very strong running from Randell close to the line.
Well, New Zealand wanting to move the big Australian front row around as much as possible tonight. Australia conceding 8 years per man up front in that loose head, hooker, tight head trio. So here he is, the miracle man, Andrew Mehrtens. He's actually missed a goal. You wouldn't believe it. He has averaged 15 points a test match And that's pretty amazing when you consider this is his 34th international. Mehrtens' success rate this year is 82%. Christian Cullen takes them on. Caught by Little.
Well, they got him again. Excellent work there from the Aussie forwards. They pinned, looked like Case News coming through. That was Carl Hoft. So here's a chance to Matthew Burke for another 3.
Well, it's a chance for the Australians to just settle down, because that try really took the wind out of their sails. But again, Kearns is in there.
Richard Harry did well too, Gordon, isolating, pushing the rest of the All Blacks away. And Hoft going to ground. Jim Fleming told them he's been watching, and he might be a bit trigger happy, but they've got to listen.
Throw in Mark Connors as well there, spoiling New Zealand's delivery. So the All Blacks ahead by 7-6. It should have been 10-6. Mehrtens has missed a straightforward penalty. Can Matthew Burke make it 3 out of 3? He scored all 24 points against the All Blacks at the MCG last year, including 2 tries. It's a beautiful strike. Gee, he hit that well. Never looked like missing. Effortless. And the Wallabies are back in the lead.
Sensational kick from Burke. Made it look easy, but that was a very difficult kick, and it set Stadium Australia on fire.
Well, this Wallaby backline really looking for some good ball. They haven't seen it for about 10 minutes. Want to have a crack at the All Blacks.
Nice high restart. And New Zealand managed to flick it back. Now it's Mehrtens. Iromia. Foran just managed to get him. Gray comes in. Wallabies drive him back now. That's great work there by the Australians. Coming back here. It's a turnover. Kafer. Wanting to drop this one inside the touchline. Oh, a little knock on? No, says the referee. Umaga in trouble.
Well, it doesn't matter. They've got the same result. They should win possession on New Zealand's 25, but it is so different to Eden Park. New Zealand are making the mistakes. Australia in the forwards are driving beyond the ball. Great stuff. New Zealand are being bustled.
And the turnover came from just really aggressive defence. As you said, Nick, driving through the man.
Up the back they go. It's Matt Cobain again. On the quarter, Bill Kearns. Greeted by 2 All Black defenders. Kafer goes short side. Straight through. He had them guessing. It's only 8 metres to go now for the Wallabies. Kefu, a battering ram. He managed to offload. Coming back for Gregan. Sniping. Kafer, overlap. If Little had have got himself, he would have almost scored. He should have held on there. Gregan again. Kafer. Tests them. Manages to get to the ground. There's a penalty coming up for Australia.
Oh, this is very good from Australia. What it is positive. You've got Gregan running, you've got Kafer running, you've got Kefu running. They're all just putting their head down and going forward and getting in behind New Zealand. Great stuff.
And Dave Wilson has had the accelerator down tonight. He's getting through plenty of gaps as well.
Isn't it amazing when you carry the ball and hold on to it?
So the score here is 9-7, Australia. So Matthew Burke with a chance to push it out to 5 points. This is probably his easiest kick so far, but nothing's easy in a test match. David Wilson just regathering his thoughts. He has been inspirational, the Aussie skipper, and the back row has been working superbly, but the platform has come from up front.
Very resilient All Black defence tonight as well. There's just no easy way through, so they have to be crafty. And we are seeing plenty of runners out there. Kafer has had 12 possessions, and he's passed on 4 occasions, he's kicked on 4 occasions, and he's run on 4 occasions. Keep him guessing. Mehrtens has had 11 possessions, he's passed it 6 times and run once and kicked it 4 times.
Another crucial kick here for Burke and the Wallabies. He is on song. 4 out of 4 for Matthew Burke. The All Blacks have scored the only try of this first half, but Australia out to a 5-point advantage. So Caper's so strong, that upper body strength.
Matt Cobain there, in fact, being knocked over off the possession.
Again, New Zealand spoil well from the kick-off. Mehrtens flicked it out. That's a big tackle. Jason Little. 10-metre line for New Zealand. Australia looking to force another turnover.
He could get away from it.
Again, that wave of aggressive defence. Great to see, really putting the All Blacks under pressure. A nice little flick by Mehrtens, got into trouble. And watch, Cullen gets the ball. Jason Little just poleaxes him.
I've never seen a All Black backline scramble like this. They are really off the mark. They're being pressured so well by the Wallaby defence.
Yeah, he could have more.
Interestingly, that's the 6th ruck penalty by the New Zealand's Kane Randell captain, just querying Jim Fleming. But it's what it's about. When you're going to beat New Zealand, you've got to bustle them, you've got to get amongst them.
Well, New Zealand have been close to their peak form. They hit the ground running, but they're just a little off colour in the face of this revitalised Australian performance. Mehrtens that time just flicking the ball on, trying to get it into space, but it was a nasty bounce, and the Australian defence arrived. Can Matthew Burke make it 5 out of 5? Can he? He sure can. This is a scintillating goal-kicking performance by the Aussie number 15. And it's an 8-point lead to the Wallabies at Stadium Australia. Well, it was Eden Park and lack of discipline from the Wallabies. Too many turnovers. The shoe is on the other foot here tonight.
And Gordon, it was Eden Park and Mehrtens that put the knife into the Australians. Is it going to be Burke that will reverse the situation here tonight?
Kearns took it and goes to ground and flicks it back now. Good protection there from the Wallaby forwards. Caper's back here. Doesn't get his touch. Yes, he does, but New Zealand plays on quickly. Randall. They left Wilson unprotected, but again, Wallaby jumpers swarm in. 10-metre line. Australians half. Saziromia. The tackling is sure. That time Kefu. Australia's managed to slow it down here.
Good referee there, Jim Fleming. You hear him say, get the hands off at goal.
Mehrtens now trying to find a way through. Gregan arrives. Mehrtens gets out of trouble. And a nasty bounce for Caper.
George Gregan, he got the scent. You can see him just honing in there, but Mehrtens, the clever player he is, gets out of trouble.
Well, like Tim Horan, you never realise just how quick Andrew Mehrtens is until he has to just squeeze that little bit of extra juice out.
So a wicked bounce there for Rod Caper, and Daniel Herbert preparing to come on
in a jersey without a number.
Here's Marshall and Mehrtens again. Umanga's joining the line. Straight through. Terrible defence. Iramia. Collared there by Jason Little. Australia hanging on for dear life. New Zealand can't get it out.
Going forward, black ball.
Well, they've got a scrum 2 metres out, but again, tremendous desperation defence as we see a little stink erupting. Let's just have a look. Porter, you might take it through it.
Ben Toon straight into the middle of them. This is something they can't back off. The Blacks have pulled it on, and the boys are stepping straight in, the whole lot. This is a wonderful show of strength by the team. There wasn't punches thrown, but everyone came to support black and gold. Cat cam down low. Great pass. Look at this tackle. Nathan Gray and also Jason Little have been strong in defence. Then the wrestle for the ball as we come round in goal and look at it from the reverse angle.
As I was saying, tremendous play. It's Jim Fleming. We might just listen to see if we can hear Fleming.
Calm down. Just a handbagging job, OK? Let's go. OK? Black ball in the scrum going forward.
I love the description, a handbagging job.
No!
Look at this. How many are they packing in this scrum? Now, 5?
The mark's here.
So
where's the number 8?
Good common sense there from referee Jim Fleming, who plays the bagpipes in his spare time,
as any good Scotsman does.
Just have a look at this. Tane Randell is packing off centre, which means he's not packing between his two locks or second rowers. He's packing off to the left. Will they try something on the left, or is he trying to open up the blind side?
I think they'll try and wheel this scrum to really toss the back row off.
Well, this is a rehearsed move. Marshall's gone out to the right. Here he goes. There's an overlap. I think he passed just a little early. George Gregan wrapped him up. Try goes begging. That pass was forward. Referee didn't see it.
Straight over!
The crowd saw it, and the touch judge was in goal, so he missed it too.
Leave him, number 9, goal!
Really smart defence from George Gregan. Picked the move perfectly, needed to, because they were working with precision.
Gregan's upsetting his opposition, Marshall. Something's happened out there, but Gregan is being spoken to. Marshall is upset. Good niggling tactics by the Wallabies.
New Zealand going for the 5-pointer.
He's kicked it in goal. It's a David Knox back in Dunedin back about 97.
He didn't kick it dead in goal. The touch judge said he did.
Whoever got the ball at 25 and get heading out.
Well, anything can happen when you keep your opposition uncomfortable.
You know, that's just come off the wrong side of his foot. That's an execution error, and really that's probably 5 or 7 points cost to New Zealand.
Here's Mehrtens. Can he redeem himself? Huge kick downfield over Burke's head. So Matthew Burke, plenty of time, not a lot of angle. Geez, he's got the kicking boot on tonight. Ben Tune coming up, so is Herbert, so is Burke. Christian Cullen, normally the All Black fullback. His first 29 test matches at fullback. This is his 6th test in a row on the wing. Australia up 15-7 as we close on the half-time break. Well, the real Wallabies have stood up tonight. 4 changes in the tight 5, Simon, from the first game at Eden Park.
Yeah, Australians opting for the short line. Here, got Kefu out as a runner out wide.
Cobain, athletic. David Wilson in at first receiver. They're working behind the advantage line. Here's Gregan to Tune. Kronfeld came through. So did Maxwell. Kafer. That one's gone a little too far. Here's Herbert. It swirled though, and Wilson was magnifique under that swirling ball.
Did exceptionally well, Wilson. Very difficult ball. Herbert really gunning down on him.
This has just kept Mehrtens away from the Wallaby goalpost. They've worked at putting the ball in behind. It did go a little bit far and gave Wilson a little bit of time, but like Nureyev, that great ballet dancer, just comfortable under the high ball.
The line out there really working Cobain tonight. He's certainly had the majority of wins for the Wallabies.
Well done by Giffen. Wild pass from Gregan. Matthew Burke cleans up. This is Mehrtens skirting at the back, wanting to link up with Wilson. Defence comes up. Bounce important here for Little and Horan. Great pass. Intercepted by Cullen. And Australia have got a turnover. They drove him back with the numbers. Can they get it wide? Quickly. Kafer. Harry put through a half gap. That's Kefu again into Umanga. Kafer on the short side here. He's working into traffic. Herbert and Kafer. They maul it back again, Australia. Kurtz! Inside ball. Gregan! New Zealand, hang on. Case Muse there. Or it was Dylan Meeker in the last line.
Good cool work by the experienced Wallabies out there. Gregan, Kearns. They've got the line out. Watch this. Kearns goes hard. Gets the ball back inside to Gregan. Gregan the Hail Mary pass and Meeker across to the intercept.
You picked the time and there were two Wallaby backs caught in. Kearns knew that and he punched up the short side.
Well, it's a very experienced Australian side, no doubt about that. 533 caps to New Zealand's 353. And the experience has come through in the first half.
And the chant for the Wallabies around the ground is incredible. I've never heard this before. They've seen their team play with the pride and the passion that they know of. Look at them all yelling at Wallabies, Wallabies.
110,000 fans jammed into Stadium Australia. We're just over 12 months out from the 2000 Olympic Games. And the atmosphere here tonight will be every bit as good as we'll see next year. This telecast going live on the 7 network and also to Prime in Australia. Cobain got it. Big drive for the Wallaby eights. 4 metres to go. 3 to go. 2 to go. They're over. What a sensational surge there from the Wallaby forwards.
Well, technical precision this one. Cobain, super line-out jump, but then they just shuttered him very quickly. And Connors in his first test match on the run-on gets the try. Andrew Blades, give this try to Andrew Blades. He got him to change direction once the All Blacks had stopped them, and that gave Connors the chance to score the try.
This try is simply sheer guts and determination. The Wallabies have stood up tonight and showed that they have got what it takes. Everyone joined. They just wanted to get it over the line. Go you good Wallaby pack. Go you good things, go.
The buzzard, Mark Connors, gets Australia's first try, and what a score in the shadows of half-time.
You just see New Zealand, too many players hanging off that. They thought they could control it, but Australia had committed all 8 of their men. Look at Dan Herbert. He realises how important that is, how much daylight that puts between Australia and New Zealand on the closing of half-time.
So can Matthew Burke now add another 2 points? Australia out by 13. This would be 6 out of 6 for Burke, and it's not a problem. There goes the hooter. What a 40 minutes of rugby from the underdog Wallaby team. New Zealand are raging favourites, but they are down by 22-7. And the big crowd loves it. 1 try apiece. Matthew Burke, 5 penalties and 1 conversion. Australia 22-7.
We go by.
It's going off here. It's up towards that world record mark as we look at these exclusive pictures from the Goodyear blimp, the spirit of the South Pacific. We're seeing the spirit of trans-Tasman rivalry here as this huge gathering has enjoyed the first half, naturally enough, because the home team is in front, Simon and Nick, by 22-7. Well, what about it, Nick, that first half performance?
Gordon, it's been great. I hope there's plenty of parties going on around Australia at the moment, but they've got to come out and do it again for the next 40. Put it down to 3 things for me, Gordon. Getting amongst the New Zealanders in defence, really getting amongst them, driving past the ball at the ruck, and importantly, not making mistakes, hanging on to the possession.
Simon Portervin's itching to go. What about the stats, territory and possession? Dominant for Australia.
Yeah, the Aussies are really about 64% possession, and it's interesting, both fly halves are mixing their game up there. Turnovers from both sides, very low. Jim Fleming is really worrying the All Blacks with the penalties. They can't believe how they're keeping him on side, and line out the Australians is working well. This is the first try. Watch Mehrtens, super individual performance. He dummies, he goes, he gets past Kefu, he's got support there, but George Gregan misses the vital tackle, and Jason Little, Burke take each other out. a really great one-off performance.
Well, Andrew Mehrtens has startling pace. The Australian reply just before half-time was not near as spectacular, but the execution from the forwards, Nick, really was.
The commitment has been fantastic from our front eight. They've been criticised after poor performances against New Zealand and South Africa, but these guys are paving the way. Look at them climbing in there. New Zealand hanging off, waiting to see what's going to happen after the ruck and maul, but nothing's going to happen after the maul because they're going to score from the maul. Tremendous commitment, came at a crucial time and has given the Wallabies a lovely little margin.
Let's have a look at the score breakdown. Matthew Burke has hit a purple patch. 6 out of 6, 5 penalties, have punished all of New Zealand's indiscretions, and the converted try just before the break, and Mehrtens has converted his own try. Well, Chris Handy, you talked about the Wallaby forwards producing it tonight. They certainly have. Your impressions?
Good, and 3 things they had to do. We had to win the anthem. We did that. They had to play with pride and passion. They're doing that so far, and they had to get at least 60% of the ball to make up for some of those combinations which hadn't been quite yet formed. They're doing that. But don't underestimate this great All Black side. They either play one half or the other. They're due for a good one. They know Jim Fleming now, and the spirit of rugby is on the field as we see. The Barraba under-8s playing in front of 110,000 people. Their chests are puffed out. They're really good.
Yes, well, they're watching at the Plough Inn in London as well. Half-time, 22-7 in favour of the Wallabies over the Men in Black. And this enormous crowd at Stadium Australia witnessing an outstanding first half from the underdog Wallaby team, who have the half-time lead of 22-7. The players haven't returned so far, but Mehrtens getting a try, Connors for Australia. The difference has been Matthew Burke. He's kicked 5 penalties and also a conversion, and the difference has also been the Australian forwards. Those guys have done an outstanding job tonight, and New Zealand with it all to do in this second half. But there is a touch of deja vu here, folks, because in 1996 at Suncorp, as we look at the territory in possession, Jim Fleming had the match. Australia led 22-7 and lost the game.
They keep this possession up, they'll be fine. In territory, it's been a bit more conservative game there from the All Blacks at times. However, good to see when they can run the ball, they're really going for it. Australia has won 3 of the New Zealand rucks out there, which they'd really hate. They'd be spewing about that, and they've got to keep that up in the second half, the hunger at the breakdown.
Buddha, what's it like down there on the sideline as John Williamson sings Waltzing Matilda again?
You have to be here to experience this. There is no better feeling. Your own icon, John Williamson, singing, and the crowd just swaying as one with Go the Wallabies signs up, and they're fired up. But don't underestimate these All Blacks. It's been done before. It was done at Suncorp Stadium in '96. They are a great team, and they will come back and test our Wallabies.
Yes, well, 1 try after the break for New Zealand will dramatically change the complexion of the game. They have produced their worst half of football in 12 months, and they really will be out to redeem themselves in their second half. So this is a live telecast on the 7 network and also Prime in rural Australia, on Sky New Zealand, Mnet Supersport in South Africa, Star TV in Southeast Asia, Canal Plus in France, B Sky B in Great Britain, J Sky B in Japan, and also live to RAI Italy, and on delay to Television New Zealand. Championship Rugby on Fox Sports in Canada and the United States, ESPN in South America, RTP in Portuguese television, and Fox Sports Australia. We're underway in the second half, and New Zealand with the first touch, Umaga. Jonah Lomu's on the field, and the All Blacks trying to break out from their quarter. They'll crank it up here as Oliver gets through. The Australians, some soft defence in close. Umaga's in the fray again. Great hands from Wilson to Lomu. He's beaten 2.
Matthew Burke, what a hit on Lomu. Ball and all.
What a start by New Zealand. They've swept play up from their own quarter. Here's Mehrtens. Andrew Blower's on the field. 35 metres out. The All Blacks looking to hit back quickly. And a knock-on by Case Muse.
Well, Case Muse, Ching really diffused what was a unbelievably well-structured breakout from New Zealand.
Mass changes from John Hart with Lomu on the wing. He's comes back inside. He's hairless. He normally has that little tuft. Look at Burke. Stepped forward, pulled him down, ball and all, and stood up over the top of him.
Andrew Blades did well to get across in cover.
They mean business, though. They mean business, the Blacks. Hart would have read the riot act. He has a reputation for doing that. He's pulled guys off, put on guys, Blower and Lomu.
Trying to attack Australia's scrum, but Australia rock solid. Wilson underneath this one. Here comes Tune. Good defence. Lomu's there. It coughs out. They wrap up Jonah. Cobain's there. So was Connors. And so was Gregan.
We'll see the tactics straight away. Lomu on. Ball over the top, trying to exploit his slowness and get him back. And that time, they got him because we had Wilson through. Excellent tackle here, but Lomu was too slow to collect that ball.
Phil Kearns. He's won more tests against New Zealand than he's lost. That's quite an amazing statistic.
There'd be few in the world who could boast it.
Here's Herbert running off the Kafer pass in midfield. They'll just get over the advantage line.
He's onside.
New Zealand
Going forward, black ball. He was onside.
with some very good work at the breakdown there, just getting a little break their way. They needed that. They get a scrum feed just short of halfway.
Well, in the first half, the All Blacks did not secure any turnovers from the Australians at the ruck and maul. As John Hart, Wayne Smith look on, they'll be pretty pleased with the start. Penalties running 9-6. That's been the worst part of the All Blacks in that first half.
Marshall works it, caught by Gregan. Loose pass, back to Randall. He's under heavy pressure from the Wallaby forwards. Back row in there quickly.
Going forward.
Wouldn't George have loved that? New Zealand have secured the scrum feed, but Gregan all over his opposition, Marshall, and he's frustrating him. George there just questioning the decision, but look at this. Tremendous defence. Australia have to continue to do this for the next 35 minutes, and they will win.
You'd question whether that ball didn't go forward from Marshall.
So there's an injury here, and concern for Robin Brooke. So the score is unchanged from half-time, 22-7 to the Wallabies. Backable odds to win the World Cup. 2-1 on. A little bit of rain starting to tumble down from the heavens. But Australia out to try and change that World Cup landscape, and they've certainly done just that in the opening 40 minutes.
Well, this won't be too easy for Brooke. He looks like he's had a stomp on his hand or something. But of course, crucial that he gets those two-handed possessions in the line-out.
Well, they've got a real good guy on the bench in Royce Willis, so I don't know how long you'll see him stay on there. This rain has been threatening for the last 2 days. Eventually it has arrived.
Well, it's not what New Zealand wants.
No, you wouldn't think so. With a 15-point buffer for the Wallabies, they can really close this game down. They can play the short side. The short side should be their friend, and Kafer put a few balls up in the air, play the touchlines.
Lomu and also Tune eyeing each other off out here on the wings as Mehrtens goes in behind the Aussie backs, playing for territory. It's a beauty inside the Australian quarter. Now they can crank it up and try and pressure Australia's line-out throw.
Okay, you're Andrew Mehrtens there at fly half. You see the rain falling. You know that Phil Kearns hasn't got the greatest percentage hit in the world. So why not play it into the corners?
Crucial they get these calls right now. Watch the way the Wallaby forwards move around, mobilise to try and secure this two-handed possession. New Zealand will be desperate to win this one.
Slippery ball for line-out thrower Kearns. And it's pitched. Mehrtens, Iramia, slammed to ground by Kafer. What a tackle! He was assisted also by Horan. Here's Mehrtens again. That was a bit of a panic pass there to Oliver. Midfield on the 22. Wallaby defence is well organised.
Marshall without options.
Now Mehrtens looking for a gap. The defence is up quickly. Cullen's caught. Again, the goal forwards arrive in numbers and force him back. And in, though, for New Zealand. Here's Tane Randall. And he lost it. Jarring tackle there from Kefu. Gregan. And Herbert and Kafer. Kafer with a chase for Tune. Lomu there first. That's a brilliant kick there from Caper, and he gets a pat on the head from George Gregan.
This is exactly what the Wallabies have got to do. What a great sign seeing Justin Marshall, if you're an Australian supporter, without options. He didn't know where to pass it. He had the ball secured, but eventually they turned it over, and the Wallabies have banged it back deep into New Zealand territory. What a tremendous tackle. Great stuff. Full 100% commitment from the guys in goal.
The rushing defence of the Wallabies is clearly putting the Blacks off. They're all over them. They're coming up. They've made the commitment. They've backed each other. The kicker is supported by the chasers.
David Giffen. Wallaby forwards tightly knit here.
Giffen won 3 in the first half. Cobain 6.
Coming, goal, going forward, tackle.
And they got the scrum
here. Just 7 metres out from the All Black goal line as the rain tumbles down.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they'd try and play it too wide here, as you see Chris Whittaker in the middle. Blanket overhead. Just jam it up in close. The short side becomes your friend in these conditions, especially when you're ahead by 15 points.
Mark Connors has had a storming game in his run-on test debut tonight.
Ben Tune looming on the right flank, talking to Caper. Wouldn't be surprised to see him come inside Caper. We're not going to get a chance.
Get your goal, you loosened your binding. He dropped his binding, he loosened it. He brought his shoulder in the way.
And clearly Andrew Blades is having some trouble. Carl Hoff, a very good technician on this side, and he's forcing him to release the binding, which Jim Fleming's punished him for.
So that's good, powerful scrummaging there from Carl Hoft, and New Zealand take play outside their 22.
Get up, baby. Go! Right.
Robin Brooke got it. New Zealand tried to splinter through the Australian forwards, but they're stopped. Very well organised Wallaby defence tonight. Mehrtens is forced to kick again. Over Tune's head. And Matthew Burke infield as the rain gets heavier. Spiral torpedo for Brooke. Oh! How far offside is that man?
He's outside the 10 metres. Jim Fleming says he's offside, but he's not. Well, he's returning onside.
No, but you went back 10 that way at all. You can't be played on for a pass.
You can never be replayed. You can never be put back onside from that position, though, Chris.
No, he thought he was on.
He is correct in saying that the pass doesn't put Wilson back on, but he was 10 metres even though he was further away.
And there's this rain coming down now.
Well, what a downer for the crowd. And we're going to have a swimming pool here shortly. The aquatic centre next door for the Pan Pac Championships. And it's been raining world records there. We're hoping it's going to be a world record tonight as far as the crowd is concerned.
Conditions getting very tough out there for the players. This rain is bucketing down, and Gordon, you are right, it is very disappointing for the crowd. Wonderful stadium this, but a lot of people sit outdoors or without cover.
Now with this sort of weather, the side that plays the game more technically will win. These are difficult conditions like the Wallabies faced in Pontypool, Nick, and the most technically proficient team will do better in this half.
It's exactly right, Chris. It's about execution, doing your job, catching, passing, and doing things simply. Just do things simply, play the short side, and use the boot.
Well, a strong engagement there from the All Blacks, really trying to unsettle Andrew Blades on their side.
The Blades just uses his right hand to steady the scrum, get some stability. Gregan puts it high for Wilson. Tune arrives. That man was in front accidentally, says the referee.
It's very interesting from that kick. Lomu was back in the centres. They had...
It was Mehrtens on the short side,
on the short side to cover.
And this is the place where they will use Lomu in the middle of the field off Mehrtens. He's got the power. But again, the Blacks scramble. Wallabies have got to keep this pressure up.
I'd do exactly the same if I was George.
Here's Cape up. Gets over the advantage line. Gregan again. Connors. Well caught by Randall. Connors looking strong tonight. Gregan again to Caper. He's going to punish in behind them once more.
Having a gem, Caper. really playing well for a debutant. First test, 110,000 people and playing the Blacks. Good on you, mate.
His grandfather, Harold, is down from Shoal Bay. His 87-year-old grandfather is down from the retirement home with his mother and father, driving up from Canberra with his brothers today. So the Harbourside Haven village at Shoal Bay, his grandfather's mates are all watching tonight.
Well, Andrew Blades with a stop and play here as we go to the scoreline of Australia 22, New Zealand 7.
So the rain has just eased a little, but it's making life a misery for those spectators who don't have shelter. And the brave ones are sticking in there, but a lot have gone back under the covered areas. Robin Brooke very strong at the front. Anton Oliver. Mauls off him. But the Wallabies have pulled it down. They've done that a couple of times.
You can't pull it down when you wheel a driving maul. Now, Mark Connor's done a few of them, but the referee is very tough on it. I'll have to follow it. You are able to drive up on the other side and twist it.
New Zealand trying to claw their way back into this match. And they know they can do it too. Wallabies, any sign of just going off the boil or relaxing, giving away penalties like this will play New Zealand back into the game.
He's got him again for taking Robin Brooke out in flight. Discipline in the first half was sensational. Discipline in both South Africa and Auckland was very ordinary. They've got to pick it back up.
So that's Norm Maxwell. Again, the Wallabies pull it down, but the referee happy that time that it wasn't pulling a maul down.
There wasn't a maul, that's the tackle.
I reckon that you'll see big Jana Lomu off Mehrtens from this particular scrum.
Simon, they're really searching for ideas, though. I've just been observing the All Black backs. A lot of talk, a lot of discussion. They seem a little bit directionless as we see Lomu looking to insert himself.
Lomu standing at inside centre. He's the first receiver. It took about 5 to finally get him to ground, and he's made 7 or 8 metres. So here's an overlap. Umaga. Herbert in with a bottling tackle, and look at Kefu. Todai Kefu has driven him back metres.
First there was a hit by Daniel Herbert, then the second line of defence came through and Mehrtens was swamped.
Number 4 went right down in top.
Look how pumped up these Wallaby defenders are, and look at the look on Andrew Mehrtens' face. It's as if he's having a big bleat.
Well, Chris, they're not used to being in this situation, the All Blacks, and certainly not in 1999. I was nervous that it could be like 1987, the inaugural World Cup year, where the All Blacks ran first all year, Daylight was second. But not tonight. The Wallabies are standing up and being counted, and it all comes down to this. Look at the defence. Gold jerseys swarming.
Matt Cobain with a very big confrontation. And we're now 35 metres out from New Zealand's goal line. Almost to the three-quarter point of the match. That's Mark Connors at the front. The rain has stopped as the Wallabies edge ahead. The rolling maul has been impressive tonight. It's been a good weapon. And again, New Zealand has been splintered. Gregan, Kafer. It's a good one. Lost backwards. Referee's playing advantage for a knock-on by Australia, he says.
How did Norm Maxwell get away with coming in and absolutely collapsing that maul? Love to see a replay. It was extremely dangerous play.
Tremendous play from the Australian forwards yet again. They have won all the points here tonight. The game, of course, isn't over, but they're playing so strongly up front.
So Australia leading by 22-7. That's the score here at Stadium Australia. And yeah, the moon's even poking through the thick clouds, so that's a good sign. And
look at
waltzing
that water.
Matilda from the crowd, Chris Handy.
As the water laying around that Olympic track, it's like a billabong, and it brings them into the tune of Waltzing Matilda, that famous billabong in Queensland.
Go you good jolly jump back.
Well, go their defence here, because the All Blacks, I reckon you'll see them try and run it out from here.
Back it goes for Mehrtens. And landing that one over the touchline and taking it out of the danger zone, importantly. So Australia led 22-7. I'm sure that was the score at Suncorp in 1996 with 20 to go and lost the game. New Zealand will be looking to repeat it.
And I would say there'll be time to replace Andrew Blades. He's done a fine job. Pardo Noriega could be injected into here, fresh man, and fired up.
The experience of Kearns has shone through, but he wouldn't be happy with that throw. Taken away by Maxwell.
Cronfield offside.
Kicks out on the full as well.
Well, here's a second chance, and I know that the New Zealand jumpers are very, very good jumpers, but you've got to try and go short when you're getting the ball splintering like this in the wet.
Owen Finnegan would be somebody who would be dynamic in this, in these conditions. He's standing on the sideline. Dearly love a go.
Tell you what, Chris, though, the way these guys are going, I wouldn't be changing anything at this stage. They've got the momentum.
I know how you feel, that he's just standing there eyeing it off.
Well, it's a slippery ball, and the penalty goes to Australia there for some interference by the old stager Robin Brooke. It was number 5.
So what do you do here, Nick? Difficult conditions, kick for goal.
Well,
Simon, 15 points margin. You can extend this out to 18. Burke's kicked everything from sight. He's had the length all night. I'd be going for the 3.
22 play 7, kick to come. So Burke is on the 10-metre line. Just a few specks of rain coming down.
On the line out, one of the things not good for the Australians in this game. New Zealand have won 3 of our throws.
Put a bit of that down to the slippery ball as well in the second half. And this won't be easy for Burke. He's been a machine tonight. Can he make it 7 from 7? Didn't look like missing. It's a broken record. He's a robotic goal kicker, Matthew Burke. He's on automatic pilot, and he's just made it 7 from 7 as Australia clears out to an 18-point lead.
Again, for all you viewers, it looks so easy, but he's kicking the ball about 50 metres from an angle. Difficult conditions. Great stuff, Burke.
Australia 25-7. George Gregan to Caper. Off a New Zealander. And so Australia will get the line-out throw.
Rod Caper, little smile there. We'll take that one. Always love a throw in from the line-out. Really enjoying himself out there. Not under pressure at all.
He's an insulin-dependent diabetic. He has been since he was 15 years of age.
Great maturity.
Mark Connors skillfully. Not in straight.
Geez, they had the laser gun on this one or what?
That was a bit of an outswinger there from Phil Kearns.
New Zealand must score next if they've got any chance.
Lomu's in again. Caper goes up quickly. 3 on 2. Clever kick for Umaga. Just went too far.
Good variation there from the All Blacks. Last time round we saw Lomu barge forward. This time he provided the feed out wide. But the defence was smart enough to shut it down.
When he's flat-footed, he can't do much with it. He picks up the run around. They had the numbers, but the pressure on the kicker meant that it went wide.
Well, the Australian back row has dominated New Zealand's back three tonight after being blitzed at Eden Park. David Giffen there, controlled here by Kearns. Referee wants it out. Gregan just hugging the touchline. Wallabies everywhere. Gregan for it. 10 from halfway. Gregan wants the quick ball. Mark Connors, who played first-grade Aussie rules in Brisbane when he was 15 years of age, has forced a mistake from Jeff Wilson.
This is really mature play by people like Timmy Horan. He could have pushed the pass, he could have gone wider, but he knew all he had to do was hang on to the ball, create the phase play, and then put the ball in behind the All Blacks. Look at this, 22 metres out, Australian throw-in.
How about the ball that George Gregan got back from his up and under? Went through about 15 pairs of hands.
It was good, and Matthew Burke knows how it is for Jeff Wilson to have a bit of a wurzel and fumble a ball and just muscle it into touch.
Richard Harry's had his finest performance against the men in black tonight. He's been in everything. And it looks as though he's going to depart. Chris?
Ricardo Noriega's been warming up, and I think this is quite a good move. Noriega will come on to loose head.
Australia has the ball here. Gregan going short side to Kafer. Well, not a great option, that kick. Lomu's away.
Oh, he's pulled it back.
Whistle has gone for a loss forward. Well, that was one time maybe the Wallabies needed to keep it in hand. They had an overlap on that short side.
If you're going to put the little grubber in, it's about getting it behind the opposition, not in front of them. But we've been fortunate, the Australians, as Noriega takes the field in place of Richard Harry. Little All Black knock on gives the Wallabies a great opportunity. 30-metre short side, options both ways.
This field is now very greasy, and both packs will need to keep their footing. Quite treacherous at the moment, the amount of water that's been on it.
And the Blacks must be vulnerable in behind Lomu.
Australian scrum holding up extremely well. Here's Kafer again. He grubbers in behind, it's nasty. And a mark paid there to Jeff Wilson. He got the fly kick that came through and he plays on. So cool in the crisis. But that was a tantalising little kick through in behind the defence that time.
And Kafer's playing a very clever game. These conditions are really difficult, very slippery. Get it in behind the opposition. Look how difficult that is. Gold jerseys everywhere. Tremendous play, Wilson.
And Royce Willis going on for Robin Brooke. I think that hand injury is tired. And also Owen Finnegan on the sideline in 20 jersey as Robin Brooke comes on. Off Owen Finnegan. Look at him. He's desperate to get on.
Jeff Wilson, a great cricketer in his time. Real slips catch that one.
Yes, he played international cricket and international rugby for New Zealand before he was 20 years of age. As Finnegan comes on for David Giffen.
Big job, Giffen.
And that's some support for Mark Connors. They've left him on, playing well, jumping well.
And up goes Connors again. Connors is having a whale of a game. Here's Kepu. He really stood up tonight. Kafer working in close. Willis came in with a solid tackle, but Kafer manages to get it to ground. Wallabies haven't turned over the ball in tackles tonight. Horan, orthodox kick across field. Tune through on Wilson. Lomu. Head of steam. Straight through the middle. And a great tackle there by Andrew Blades. He doesn't do too many tackles in a game, but he'll remember that one for the grandchildren. Iramia. Crunched. Wallaby defence holds firm. They work at short side again. He got through Finnegan. He got through four. Tune comes at him.
Great exponent of the Maori sidestep, Jonah Lomu.
Royce Willis. This is a promising build-up from the All Blacks. And Australia slow it down and hold it in.
Well, this is a sensation. Both Mehrtens and Marshall are going to be replaced. Byron Kelleher and Tony Brown are due to run on. I wonder if they'll do it before the kick. Lomu has an effect. Look how difficult he is to tackle. The best have come at him and fallen off him.
Watch
Look
Gregan.
at this.
Gregan does a sensational job coming in low. Finnegan bumped off, Connors bumped off. Brown now kicking for touch, and he's made a shocker.
Maybe they should have waited to let Mehrtens have the kick for touch, but the fresh man has made a mess of it, and that really sums up New Zealand's night.
Yeah, no, they have been bustled indeed. You don't see these sort of mistakes from well-oiled All Black teams. The Aussies have got amongst them, and they've forced the errors and taken away the composure.
And I think they've bustled John Hart as well. They forced him into no man's land.
I think Hart's almost conceded this. He's sort of saying to the other guys, well, we might concede this. I'm going to put this on you, replace a couple of guys, and get you back focused for the World Cup.
Fly halves have both had 26 possessions. Capers passed on 9 occasions, kicked on 11. And Mehrtens passed on 14, kicked on 11.
I think John Hart has played his last card on the night here. He wants these fresh men to spark something for New Zealand, because the men they've replaced weren't able to. Caper again. Clever kick. Horan's there. Jeff Wilson, so strong. New Zealand, recycle. Umaga. Now here's Cullen. Matthew Burke. Safely and calmly across. Burke has been spectacular with his goal kicking. His general play has been sound as well.
It's like the 3,000 metre steeplechase, isn't it, Gordon? He goes over the jump and through the water hazard onto the track. Shades of the Olympics.
Well, he was a GPS hurdles champion. He does it all, Matthew Burke. Cullen has joined the line, and Lomu again. He couldn't get away from Dan Herbert, who stuck to him like a fly.
Well, he's got Dave Wilson this time for lying all over Lomu. He came with a good secondary tackle on him as the big man pulls him up.
With less than 15 minutes of normal time, some injury time left, the All Blacks have to play on quickly. They've, of course, got to go for the 7 points, so they're playing for touch and then the line-out, and they've just got to lift the momentum of the game, quicken the pace.
How do you roll away from that tackle? David Wilson tackled, drove over, his legs one side, the body the other. He was immediately set upon by the All Blacks, and the referee said roll away. He'd have to be Mandrake the magician.
Well, how about a hand here for Phil Kearns, who's leaving the field in his 65th international. His wife Julie watching with new son.
Great win, Connors.
And that's the one that Connors will always get for you.
He's played out of his skin tonight, Mark Connors. Caper's waiting for it. And he gets a nice spiral torpedo in on the 22. But New Zealand are cranking it up. There's still 13 and a half minutes to go, allowing for injuries. A couple of players down here for attention. Score is 25-7. The Wallabies in the lead. Changes happening all over the place here. You might just like to update us. That's Owen Finnegan. Let's hope it's not his injured shoulder.
Yeah, it was a great line-out win. He picked up the loose ball and goes to ground on the shoulder, and he gets hit at the same time. Now, he's not comfortable. His hands aren't moving well, and that may well mean that it's a shoulder injury again.
I think it's his head. In the neck.
He got a bit of a knee in the head, I think, Chris, and there's a...
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. The doctor there just checking his vision. Yeah, the neck injury.
We talked about Normie Maxwell. He's all arms, elbows, and any bit of flesh that comes through.
How could you hurt that Melon? His nickname's Melon. It's been in the way. Yeah, there the knee clash as Royce Willis came over the top. It was good.
A bit of elbow on this one. Watch the elbow come in from Maxwell.
Yeah, the elbow did the damage. And he's in fairyland, Owen Finnegan.
That's leprechaun land, I think.
Irish extract. Cobain courageously and sensibly down on the loose ball. So Gregan has just had the platform from his forward pack tonight. Caper doesn't get the touch. Yes, he does. Here's Lomu. Pass was fine from Kronfeld. And he's devoured Lomu by the Wallaby defence. 3-on-2. Umaga. Cullen's with him. Cullen out wide. Was it forward?
It was indeed.
Kefu across and cover just in case. All Blacks really just throwing caution to the wind, having a go. Lomu's had a big effect on the outside since coming on.
It's interesting to watch this. All you have to do is project the ball backwards. If the momentum carries it forward, correct me if I'm wrong, Gordon, then it's okay, but probably clearly forward there.
It looks as though he did throw it forwards.
The old basketball throw, it's very hard to control. He knew he had to get it over the top.
Well, it just hasn't been New Zealand's night. They haven't had the luck, they haven't had the bounce. Australia's been penalised for not keeping it up. Dropping his shoulder there, Noriega.
Tane Randell's got to pick up the pace of this game, the New Zealand captain.
It's not enough for them to take the kick here, Nick, is it? They've got to produce something out of the box, get 7 points and force their way close.
Absolutely, Chris, but I'd be quicking up the pace at which I actually had the Reece take. They've wasted 30 seconds just doing this.
Well, this is a gridiron move here. We had the NFL. Who's got it? Case Muse.
Now's the time for Kelleher, the replacement scrum after them, have a quick tap and get on with it. Gooding waiting for the instructions from Randell. They're not coming.
Well, Nick Barr-Jones would have been over in the corner, I think.
At least I would have had a go, Gordon. I don't think I would have made it, but...
So this is sensible. They're bringing the defence in, go to a scrum. It'll give out wide Lomu, Eremia a chance to run free. And they've blown it.
Michael Foley sucked him in again. A little bit of gamesmanship, and Jim Fleming enjoined as him.
So Matthew Burke can kick this one out on the full, even though it was a free kick. He was inside his 22. And look at Foley.
The face of an innocent schoolboy.
Michael Foley was born in this area, Chris, at Homebush. He went to St Patrick's College at Strathfield. I know he's a dyed-in-the-wool Queenslander, but we'll claim him here in Sydney as well. Well picked up by Kefu. Australia protected again. And Kafer content to kick downfield. That's not a good kick. A chance for a counter. Lomu's outside. Got away from Herbert again, but there's a beautiful tackle by Tian Strauss. Connors comes away with it. Australia back in possession from the New Zealand turnover. Just Contel coming across the top.
Outstanding work by the buzzer, Nick. You'd have to agree. Mark Connors, I mean, sometimes skills like that on a greasy field, and you're coming on and you know, a test match you haven't played for a while. It does wonderful things for a captain to see a player in front of you doing it.
Without doubt. Wallabies be very happy just seeing the clock tick down here. The more set plays they can have, the more stoppages like this, the better for them. 5 minutes of normal time. Timmy Horan, great performance back at inside centre. Nathan Gray, good move, McQueen. Get him on.
So here's Gregan. Kafer to Herbert. Solid tackle there from Kelleher. Wallabies look to knock on. Just a little over anxious, but time is almost beaten New Zealand, you would think. Clock is showing over 8 minutes to go, and the crowd is up on the board. There it is. It's a world record attendance. Over 107,000 fans have witnessed the Bledisloe Cup decider, and it's looking as though the cup's going to stay on this side of the Tasman, especially when New Zealand knock on a slippery ball like that. 107,042 is the magic number, the biggest crowd in history to watch a rugby match.
And Gordon, with the exception of those dressed in black and white tonight, I assume everyone will stay to watch the Wallabies parade the Bledisloe Cup around this great stadium.
Going down again, please.
New Zealand hasn't won in Sydney since 1995. This is the Wallabies' 9th Test match victory in a row in Sydney, if they get up tonight.
New Zealand need a miracle.
Controlled by Kefu. Gregan. Cleverly judged kick, landing it in the field of play. Jeff Wilson. Ben Tune says, take that. Turnover. All Blacks all offside. There's a big overlap there as Kafer takes them on. They want it quickly. Strauss. New Zealand on their knees here. Coming back again.
It's a tackle, going forward, go ball.
Great stuff. Boy, no, the bookies will be changing their odds, hey. The All Blacks were tomato sauce odds to win the World Cup, but this is just great stuff. We've got Eels and Larkham to come back. I mean, Kepper, would you drop him after this performance?
Nathan Gray injured in this one. You'll see him come flying out of camera, driving over the top, but he looks like he might have injured his shoulder.
So hard to predict the mental state of a side going into a game like this, and the Wallabies just so full on. There's no way in the world from the opening whistle these guys were prepared to lose this game. They've copped plenty over the last couple of weeks, but they're now back in the World Cup hunt big time. Joe Rock, he may get a run on here.
22-7 was the halftime score, and there's Rod McQueen. Well, he was pretty nervous before the game, but he's still looking a little agitated. 25-7. I think it's more concerned about Nathan Gray.
Look at the commitment from Gray. Yeah, head clash with Anton Oliver. And as the son of filthy Frank Oliver, the former All Black captain and tough man, he is built out of granite.
7 minutes to go. Wallabies 25-7. Cather again misdirecting the kick. Here's Umunga on the counter-attack. He gets the gap, and Connors brings him to ground. Australia short in numbers on the open side. The referee's playing advantage. Here's Lomu, a big gap, and a fine tackle by Kefu.
Back here!
Gregan was away for a try, but a penalty infringement by Australia, leaving their feet. Mark Connors, what a night for him.
They've got to move quickly, the Blacks. There's no time left. It is almost impossible, but they do want to finish with flourish.
It's one try apiece. Cullen trying something, but
There you go!
New Zealand has run out of ideas tonight. They haven't been able to get over the advantage line.
Australia just haven't allowed them to. All the great Wallaby victories I can remember against the All Blacks, the one thing that's characterised them is just total commitment in defence, and we've seen it from the Australian team. I'd have to say, even through all the matches this year, Australia has the best defensive team in the world at the moment.
Well, the defence has really answered the call. And this is the heroic skipper, David Wilson. Baby Charlotte is watching up in Brisbane with Mum. She arrived last November. David missed the birth because of the Wallaby Tour, such as the sacrifice of professional footballers. The Wallabies were over in the UK. But this will be all worthwhile if he can lead the men in gold to victory tonight, and they have demolished New Zealand's scrum.
Look at Georgie Gregan, Chris.
I've lived to see that tonight. This is the sign. We've been looking for a sign. Look at them, they pumped their heads up. They just demolished this scrum that came to Australia here, and they were going to take the Wallabies apart. Look at it, they hit, they steadied, and then they demolished them. Look at the drive through the middle. They buckled.
Well, it looked as though one of the second rowers, Chris, on the New Zealand side, just lost his footing. That caused the problem, but just a lack of concentration there from the All Blacks, and the Wallabies took advantage. They're hungry, aren't they? The men in gold know they have this match safely parcelled up now with 5 minutes to go. The crowd knows it too.
Well, they've got the game well and truly won, but what this is doing, including those scrums, is just giving them so much confidence for about 4 weeks' time when they start their World Cup campaign. These are big mental blows against the men in black.
This is hard here because on this side of the scrum, Andrew Blades didn't have his bind up, but Jim Fleming was watching around the other. Byron Kelleher waited, appealing to get a clear tunnel. And all of a sudden it's a penalty, Australia. You can't help bad luck.
So Matthew Burke is going to have a shot for goal and try and maintain this unblemished goal-kicking record tonight. It broke New Zealand's hearts in the first 40 minutes, 22-7 the half-time lead. And there's been just a Burke penalty in the second 40.
Psychological blows being delivered to New Zealand. This is to put Australia in front by a margin of 21 points. Wouldn't have had too many of those in the history of All Black Australian rugby.
Well, it's the biggest ever margin at the moment. 18 points is the best. This will just increase it. (26-10) 1980 at the Sydney Cricket Ground is the biggest margin. Matthew Burke, take a bow. You're a hero for the crowd tonight. 19-point advantage, and that really hammers in the final nail. The All Blacks have lost their winning sequence, and they have been beaten in emphatic style. Jason Little has a run. Wallaby forwards have been superb at the breakdown. They've been there in numbers tonight. Here's Caper. And from inside his 22, he's content to hug the touchline again. And it's the last rights now for New Zealand. And Chris Whittaker gets a run. And that's a popular decision here in his hometown. Chris Whittaker on for his 5th Test match as George Gregan departs. Orchestrating brilliantly tonight, Gregan.
Indeed he did, Gordon, and after the rain tumble, when they got that big margin, loved the way George played the kicking game and played the short side of the scrum.
New Zealand do well with a variation. Brown goes wide to Iramia. Brown on the loop. They've gone straight across field. They've lost 10 metres. Jonah tries to maul attack, but look at those Wallaby forwards. Royce Willis over halfway. Good tackle there by Noriega. Kelleher goes himself. Referee plays an advantage here. He said it's accrued territorially, so let's keep going. Kick ahead for Umaga. Here's Burke. Looked like a shot at Wembley Stadium there for goal. Half volley, straight into touch. Out on the full.
We gave the Blacks plenty of credit at Eden Park where they deserved it, but they really have been quite hapless today. Running out of ideas.
World record crowd of 107,000 people have seen the Wallabies return to splendid form to retain the Bledisloe Cup. Iramia lost the slippery ball. Lomu devoured once more. New Zealand retained possession. Just Randall. And a little knock on there by the scrum half. It just hasn't happened for the All Blacks. They've been outplayed in every department on the field tonight.
Now you can see the frustration. Tony Brown slapping his thighs.
It looks like the rain might come down again. There's some very big drops are falling here on the sideline. This match comes to a close.
A sweet moment, Chris, for Rod McQueen. I haven't seen him smile like that for a long time.
Look at that smile of blessed relief.
And Timmy Horan, the great veteran who made his debut in '89 with Phil Kearns against the All Blacks, gives his coach a congratulatory handshake as well.
Yeah,
Joe Roth comes on.
The whole of the management's come down. They know it's been a spectacular and committed performance by the Australians. They want to all join in the spoils as Joe Roth takes the field. They've retained the Bledisloe.
So Joe Roth is on.
A little bit of getting square there. I don't think they missed them there, Chris.
Matthew Burke has kicked 8 from 8 tonight. A record 7 penalty goals against the All Blacks. And Burke's personal tally is 23 points. He scored 24 against them last year at the MCG. Countdown, just seconds remaining. Time is up on the clock, but we're in an injury situation here. Australia has retained the Bledisloe Cup here at Stadium Australia. Australia wins back-to-back Bledisloe Cups for the first time since 1980. This is their 9th victory in a row in Sydney. And the All Blacks winless here in the Olympic City since 1995. Anton Oliver. Well caught by Strauss. Here's Kelleher and Brown. They only need to mark this one, but Lomu's there. They try to put him into touch, but can't. Back for Kelleher and Brown again. There's no fullback here. Picked up by Australia. Wilson cleared it. And they were offside. So can New Zealand get a consolation try? 21 points is the biggest winning margin ever for the Wallabies over the All Blacks.
Last man, leave him. Leave the hands up.
Here's Brown. Couldn't hang on. Towed ahead by Daniel Herbert. Tuned through on Lomu. Tries to get away from Burke. Here's Willis. He straightens up. Caught by Kafer. Willis sets it back. Jeremiah goes wide to Brown. Quick hands into Wilson. 2 defenders waiting for him. As soon as play stops here, the referee will blow it for full time.
A couple of souvenirs there for Jason Little, but that's it.
A record-breaking win for the Wallabies. The replaced players stream onto the field. The crowd rises as one. They are ecstatic. This has been a marvellous Wallaby performance. One really that they put their stamp on very early in the game and never looked like yielding or surrendering. They did not budge. They defended their territory and refused to let New Zealand get over that advantage line tonight. Matthew Burke, a superlative performance with the boot, a personal tally of 23 points.
Look at that jubilation. The guys know how hard these victories are against the All Blacks. Totally committed effort from the team. What a great way to take us now to the preparation to the World Cup. Take your hats off, guys. You have done this huge stadium and all the viewers in the living rooms proud here in Australia.
Well, Mark Connors there, the man they call the Buzzard. He certainly had a night to remember, but it was a consummate team performance. Let's hear from the Aussie skipper, who's with Simon Poitevin.
Dave Wilson, what a sensational victory for the Australian side and for you as captain.
Oh, very happy. It was a great way to finish the domestic season, and certainly all goes well now for the World Cup.
You've had the blowtorch on you for 2 weeks. What's it been like out there, mate?
Oh, well, it's been very hard, but the boys have really shown a lot of confidence within themselves, and we trained hard this week. And, you know, we knew we've got the ability. It's just a matter of putting it together, and we hadn't done that over the last couple of weeks. But tonight, it was a great team effort.
Unbelievable turnaround and actually getting to the breakdown tonight by all the top, the 8 forwards.
Yeah, well, we've, as a forward pack, have copped it a fair bit in the press over the last couple of weeks. You know, the back line have been rated as one of the best, but, you know, the forwards really wanted to show that, you know, we're a pretty good forward pack also.
And what's the feeling here? 107,000 people, a record victory.
Oh, it's great. You know, it's been a huge event, and we were looking forward to playing here and retaining the Bledisloe Cup, and, yeah, it's certainly just a great evening, great night.
Congratulations, Dave. Really great for all of Australia.
Thanks, Porto. Cheers.
OK, let's now go down to Chris Handy as the rain tumbles down.
Well, Tane Randall, a magnificent rugby occasion. Disappointment, I suppose, is the only way to explain it.
Yeah, just today the Australians came out and wanted to play the game more than we did. And they were ferocious on their defence and took all the chances that came their way and played well. A great occasion with so many people. Well done to the Wallabies today.
You'd pulled your side back from 5 defeats last year. They've been playing scintillating football. What do you feel went wrong tonight?
Maybe our feet just came off the ground a wee bit, and that's a bit of a shame, but we'll go away now. We've got a lot of building to do, and we'll just look forward to the World Cup.
Congratulations. There's still a lot of pride in that team of yours. Good luck in the World Cup.
Thank you.
Yes, well, New Zealand were hammered early on by referee Jim Fleming, and they didn't seem to recover from that. Matthew Burke kept slotting those penalty goals. He finished with 7. and also a conversion. He got 8 out of 8, Matthew Burke. The final score, Wallabies 28, All Blacks 7. World record crowd of 107,000 people. Matthew Burke, just a scintillating goal-kicking performance. A stellar effort from him, 7 penalties and 1 conversion. It was only 1 try apiece, but Australia 28-7. That is their biggest ever margin, winning margin over New Zealand. Let's go down now to Chris Handy, who is with the Ford Australia man of the match.
Well, you couldn't ask for better than that. A real gutsy performance from the Wallabies, Torai Kepu. A man of the match performance from you, a Ford man of the match performance.
Yeah, it was, Chris. We had a big opportunity to put ourselves on the right foot for the World Cup, and we were quietly confident during the week.
And Jeff Pilates, a great moment for Ford to be associated with this world record crowd. What a moment, and you've got something for Torai.
Torai, on behalf of Ford Australia and actually Ford New Zealand, since we're the major sponsor of rugby in New Zealand, congratulations on a truly inspirational performance. And I've got here a Ricoh digital camera for you. Hopefully you can take some photographs of the World Cup and bring it home. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, let's have a look at the full-time stats now. Nick Farr-Jones alongside, 28-7 the final score. It was 22-7 at half-time.
Yeah, no, it's a great game by the Australians. They controlled the possession in the first half, turned the All Blacks around, which was crucial. The ruck and maul count was excellent, but it was the use of the ball from Kafer. First test for Australia, the uses of the possession were positive and they were clever. And when the rain tumbled, he put leather to leather. He put it in behind the All Blacks.
Well, the other point too, Nick, is that the Aussies did so well at that breakdown. They protected their own possession, which was a big frustration for New Zealand.
There's no doubt at all about that, Gordon. David Wilson was saying after the forwards had to stand out and be counted. They drove past the ball and they definitely got on top of their much vaunted New Zealand counterparts.
We're having a lot of trouble hearing here, but let's now hear from the Wallaby fullback, who was in great form tonight.
Matthew Burke, your face will be on every Kiwi dartboard around the world.
But how good was that? That was fantastic. I think we played smart tonight. We plugged the corners. When the opportunities came, we kicked some goals. We scored a great try through the forwards. I thought it was just a fantastic overall performance. Good performance.
What a turnaround the psychology of the side from last 2 weeks ago.
Oh, mate, as it's been said in the paper, we had to look at ourselves, in the mirror basically, and come up with a few answers. And I think we did tonight. We showed a crowd of 107,000 strong how well we can play. I think we showed ourselves how good we can play.
Well, congratulations on behalf of everyone here around Australia.
Thanks,
fantastic.
Thanks, Simon. Good on you, mate.
Yes, final score 28-7, and after the break we're going to have the Bledisloe Cup presentation, so don't go away. It has been a memorable night for Australian rugby. The presentation of the Bledisloe Cup and the Tri-Nations Cup now taking place, and being called up to receive the Tri-Nations, the All Black skipper, Tane Randall, from the Honourable John Howard, Prime Minister of Australia.
Thank you very much, everyone. We're very proud to have won this trophy, but credit tonight to the Wallabies. Well done, guys, and especially well done to everyone here tonight for making it such a great occasion. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister again to present the Bledisloe Cup to the Wallaby captain, David Wilson.
Firstly, to Tane and the All Blacks, thank you very much for a great game this evening. Congratulations on winning the Tri-Nations tournament. Hopefully, if all goes well, the next time we meet this year will be in a World Cup final. So thanks very much. To the Wallabies, well done, boys. We've been under a lot of pressure the last couple of weeks. A couple of disappointing losses, but we certainly showed that we've got a lot of courage, a lot of determination, and that all goes well now for the World Cup. So well played, and let's have a bit of a break and enjoy the night. To all the people who turned out this evening, thanks for making it such a wonderful event. It's great just to be a part of this historic night, 110,000 people, and we certainly appreciate the support that we've got over the last week. Thanks for sticking by us, and We look forward to being back here next year. Thank you.
Congratulations, David, and to the Wallabies. The boys are going to do a lap of honour.
So the Wallabies going on their lap of honour. With me is Nick Barr-Jones. What about Rod Caper? How smart was his game tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. We've said many times for a young guy who was obviously going to be targeted by the New Zealanders tonight, and he was early on. He was so cool-headed. He put the ball into the right position all the time, and he was positive at all times. As we see Matthew Burke taking the Bledisloe Cup on a lap of honour.
Tri-Nations table then, well, it's really academic, but Australia closed to within 2 of New Zealand. Congratulations to the All Blacks. They did the job early on with their emphatic victories over South Africa and Australia. The Rico National Rugby Championship to be covered on the 7 Network and also Prime. We kick off with Queensland, New South Wales on September 4. And also the Rugby World Cup. Don't miss it. We'll be covering every game, and it opens on October 1st from the Millennium Stadium. Well, very emotional scenes here for the Wallabies. We wrap up our telecast from Stadium Australia. A record-breaking win in front of a record-breaking crowd. Back-to-back Bledisloe Cup victories, the first time in 19 years. Good night, Australia.